Hello friends, so today we are finally done with the tutorial completely. We are going to be able to explore the wider world. We're going to focus a little bit on taking care of farming. We're going to introduce some fishing, and then I'm going to show you the mine, and those are the goals for today that we need to get through before the end of the day. Now this one is going to be a typical regular morning. It put us straight to bed, so we probably have things in our pockets because we couldn't put them away. But we do need to get those flowers planted. So we're going to focus on that in the morning. So you can see our celery and our cabbage has come in. So we can go ahead and harvest them. Then we can till the area so that we've got room for all of the flowers we need to grow. I'm just going to grab some water here because we're going to be running out by the time we get everything. I just want to water right now, and then we'll put all of the seeds away that we don't need, so we only have the seeds that we need. Now, we do still need to plant one more onion seed, but it takes spawn time. You can see we'll add the onions there. None of the seed bags are available in here. We can go and grab these seeds all the way over here, but that seems like a waste of time today. The farthest we're gonna go is right around here, is gonna be a fishing pond that we're going to do some fishing with in order to get some money. Fishing's going to be the primary way how we, I should say it's the biggest bump that we will get in the money that we will be making. You can see we've now got far more food. We've got a bunch of seeds. We are going to need to grow these fodder corn, but it'll be after we get all the flower seeds planted. So let's get rid of all of our seeds aside from the flowers. We may have some spots that are unplanted, and that's for the seeds that we'll be picking up tomorrow because they do take several days to grow. I should have put all the food away, and we are going to have a much more entertaining and fun time. So we'll just put, this will be the Marguerite group, and then this I think is strawberry pansies. Now these tulips are going to be grown before we get all of our viola seeds in there. We're not going to be able to group them as prettily if we want to grow all 4 of these seeds. So we'll split our viola seeds between these 2 rows. That was just if I wanted to make it pretty stripes or something. I did not plan that out well. So now we've got 4 strawberry pansies, 4 marguerites. We've got our 3 daisies and our 3 tulips that we need. We have 4 violas, and then all of those seeds will come back tomorrow. The next thing that we're going to open up here is the rebuilding of the town. Now, Jack is the first one where we're going to be needing to use some of those materials that we've been gathering, and this is going to be fairly typical for when we open up a town and bring the villagers back. So this woodworking bench, this workbench that he puts in our house, it will enable us to process the lumber on our own. We need to leave a number of it unprocessed because it is going to be used multiple times. Not just if we need to process it later, but also there's several places that request just plain lumber in order to build. So basically what we're gonna do, we might as well, I think I'm gonna keep those apples actually. We'll use them as our first this is gonna be our first items that we are going to use. There we go. So to repair the inn, we only need 4 board lumber and 2 square lumber. So we can, the square lumber or the board lumber take the same amount of time, but we need more board lumber, so we'll start with that. And if we're gonna go into the mine, we want to have everything empty. But first I want to go get our fish capability. So we need to get our fishing pole. There's a little bit of a introductory fishing side quest here that Eugene gives us. And it's how we get our fishing pole. So catching the sardine fish is going to be the easiest thing that we can do. It is the simplest fish, but it can be quite daunting if you don't know how to do the fishing. And this tutorial does not do a good line of explaining it out. You can move around the lure. You don't need to use the bait to catch sardines. We're not going to be using the bait for quite a while. And I think even reading this entire deck of how-to in the fish, it is a little misleading. So I'm going to teach you how to fish as though you were fishing big fish, even though you don't have to go to this effort for these little fish. It is far easier. So you're going to walk as far as it's going to let you go to the fish, and then you're going to throw your lure, but you're going to pull it towards yourself so that you don't have to drag them that much farther where the fish are still congregating. And see, that is far closer to us, and we already have 2 fish that are interested. We wait until we see the exclamation point. Now I like to hold my directional pad down even while they're resting, so that it never has any tension. But you do need to roll the analog stick opposite the direction they're trying to get away. You'll know you've got it right when your fish are kicking up the big spray of them trying to get away. Now, you don't have to worry about bringing this in too close. The one that's really far away we can still catch without any bait as long as we put the lure in early enough, or in its path, I should say. I don't need to hold the directional pad down, and I am having to rotate the directional pad the direction that they are fighting till I see those big waves, and I let go of the A button that you reel in with as they are fighting. Now, these fish are not very hard. They're not worth much. They're okay for if you just want to get yourself some cheap and easy one heart things. You can take a bunch of them with you because there are always 8 of them every morning here. So if you want to spend your time fishing these out instead of using foraged items, you can. Oh, I pulled that too quickly. So basically, here's farther away at the starting point. It's behind the fish, so they're not going to be that interested in it. So if you're having trouble fishing, try moving the lure around before you cast it. Or getting their attention anyway. And then basically after they bite, they're gonna immediately start fighting. So make sure you are pulling back on the analog stick and you press the A to reel it in on the Switch. I believe it's the action button, which I think is X on the PlayStation. So that's enough of the sardines to pass in our quest. We can pick up this freebie food right here, which these we probably will not be using as food because we can use them as bait later on. But we can now go ahead and pass this into Eugene. And we've got the fishing pole, so now we can go and get our fish that we want for throwing in our shipping bin in order to make more money. Now, these fish that we're going to go after are far more difficult to catch than the sardines were. They are a bit bigger, but they're also worth far more. These are not the best fish in the game for us to use, but they're the best fish for the rod that we have. And it's a good way to test your fishing skills. So now we have some fish au gratin here. Don't forget to talk to everybody. The restaurant is not going to have any additional offerings until we start fixing up the village. You can see it's just the same 4 things as ever, even though Eugene is back. Tomorrow they will offer the fish au gratin, but we should have the inn fixed and we should have the flowers in 2 days. The tulips and the daisies I'm hoping will be done within 2 days. We still can't purchase any animals out of here until we open up the barn, but we can't even open up our barn until we fix all of the other buildings in the town. But we still want to build relationship points. We've already got Lechtenberry past its first star, so once we've unlocked the buildings that are closed up, it will automatically update all of our offerings to the first star level, which will give us our first recipes in the restaurant. And this is where he asks for those daisies and tulips that we gathered. So here's where it's talking about hunting down the different seeds, but we've already got the seeds that we need and they're even planted, but there is a help file on it. The zooming in and out is something that I didn't go over, but I figured it was on the screen at the bottom. We have talked about the markers a little bit. I believe later on when we upgrade our dock pad, it'll be much farther in the game, we will be able to create more than one marker, but right now we just have the one. So there's that quest. We'll go talk to these kids real quick. And go check on our wood. Swap it for the square lumber if it's finished. So the day's going to be fairly fast that it goes through. Now we are going to get several actual dishes, and we are going to eat those rather than the raw ones first. The reason why we're not eating these baguettes is because we're going to need them for a quest later on. So we now have, well, I guess by the time we get back from fishing, then these should be done. So, you know what? I think maybe we will do a bunch of the square ones. So we only need a couple of the square ones, but we're going to go ahead and do 12 so that we've got at least a stock of them built out. This is going to become a cornerstone of some of the things we're going to need to take anytime we open up a new village. A bunch of board lumber, a bunch of square lumber, and a bunch of just unprocessed lumber. So now that we've gotten everybody talked to so far, we're going to head out to the fishing spot. We'll gather anything we see on our way. The nice thing about the apples is that they grow back one per day, every day, so you don't have to wait for them to grow back. We're not going to go out of our way to collect apples, but there is that one apple tree that shows up on our way, and we'll go ahead and gather that. So we don't have anything to process at the moment, but we will get some today as we explore the mine. Our goal is get a decent sized fish in order to sell it so we can afford to have all of our ore that we gather in the mine as we try to get to level 11 processed that same day. So you can see that's the marker where I guesstimated the pond is going to be located. Oh, I guess there is one day that there isn't apples. There will be one apple tomorrow. It will not respawn with all three. But generally, I only check every few days and gather whatever's there. So this is what looks like another farming area. And the game encourages you to move your house there, but we're not going to do it. So there's two fish ponds here. This one and the one on the other side. We're only interested in the big guy. The other fish are fine, both for energy reasons and money, but the big guy is the one that we're going to get the most money for. So be careful, because a lot of them will try to get away right before you pick them up. And if you want to flesh out your encyclopedia, anytime you see fish, you'll want to catch a few just to make sure that they're fish that you've already seen. I think I've accidentally grabbed this tiny one, which is probably a crawfish. And because the fish are there every single day, I don't feel bad selling them immediately. Sometimes I'll keep them if I am desperate for food for the mine. But... And here I'm fishing every single fish but the one that we need the most. He's just the slower of the fish to grab the hook. So as you can see, we can get the fish out of this pond. If you really want to, you can get the other pond as well, but we're just, since today is a mining day, we're just trying to get one of these big guys so that I can show you what the goal is. These are going to be either an arowana or a green arowana. Either is decent money. And I'll sell all of the fish that we've caught today, aside from the sardines that we passed in, just so that you can see the difference. So here's a green here's an arowana. The green arowana is generally harder to catch, but it's also worth more, if I remember correctly. There's another pond down this path right here, and that pond also has the ability to get the green arowana or the arowana in it. See, and this is where just running is causing us to lose stamina. So I should have grabbed those seeds, but they're just, I believe, tulip seeds, if I remember right. And they're not bad to keep a store of. We can grow tulips in lily kala and try to get some hybrid tulips. See, we're already in the afternoon. So you can see down at the bottom of the screen in your shipping bin what these are worth. So each one of these is worth 110, or actually, yeah. So the rainbow trout isn't bad, but that crayfish is not worth much. So if you catch those, I would recommend maybe keeping them to eat in the mine, and you'll just eat them raw because we don't have any recipes. But the arowana has 2 hearts on it, and it's worth 330. So later on in the game, those amounts are tiny compared to what you're saving up for, but it's going to make a big difference in processing tomorrow because we're going to get a bunch of ore in the mine. So we're going to go ahead and just eat our fill of what we've got in our pockets. We will save this for when in fact, maybe we'll save this for after we have another stamina heart, because no matter how much we are low, it's going to waste some of that available stamina for that meal. This is explaining dowsing. It's kind of like radar. It is using the dock pad in order to find things. There are no pits in the Lechtenbury mine, but that is something to remember for the Lily Kala mine. The ladder is what we're looking for right now. So instead of going blind, we're going to hit the B button on the switch, and it will give us kind of a radar, and we are looking for the very center of these circles. Now, this little one is a silver ore, and that is something that we are desperate for in the beginning. And that's our first gem node. Oh, you can see I have to angle my pointer to be at the very center Now, when we approach a node like this, we're going to approach it on the corner, pointing in. And the reason being is because if we knock down some rocks, it's not going to hit us when we're in this position. That's the only position where we don't have to run away if we hit the rock. So we've already found our way down. I just wanted to show you kind of a little bit of how to do the dowsing. But what we're going to focus on is hitting nodes of things that are useful, that is likely to be bronze, which we will find a lot of. The name of this game is to get as low as we can, as quick as we can, and just so you know, these circles in the hallways are never going to be the way down. When you see the exclamation point above your head, you want to run as quickly as you can. That's just a copper node, so we're going to ignore it. Copper is not one that we use a whole lot, and we've already gathered more than we need. Just so you know, the middle of the dig spot when the rocks are falling is going to be a safe area. So you can step into that safe area when the rocks are falling. The only thing is, if it's a pit, you're gonna then fall. So you gotta pay attention. Now, looking straight down is a lot easier to try to navigate where the center of the circle is, but you'll get a feel for it. We need one more silver in order to build our barn. It is not going to be available this early on in the mine. We have to get past level 11. The one silver that we did find had a much smaller circle, so we can tell immediately just by looking at the circles if it is available or not. Now, if there's a choice, I'd rather not have to go through a stone. So here's what happens when you get hit. It can take quite a lot of your stamina away. So you want to avoid that while mining, if at all possible. And so we're going to go ahead. Actually, we could do that and then it won't be in our inventory, and we would only lose a half a heart. So that's not terrible, I guess. Oh, I thought for sure I was far enough that it wasn't going to hit me. It is much easier to hit a node than it is to hit the stone, because the node, see, no matter where the stones fall, you're safe in that one corner. That really big circle just means that there's a stone or other worthless item. Sometimes it's a pit, and so I'm not even going to bother. You can tell from the size of the circles, the items that are under them. If it's silver and gold, they're going to be smaller, and then much smaller for the gold. So you can tell before you even dig something up by the size of the circle that it shows sometimes what it is, or if it's worth your effort. So here's a probably a glass gemstone. The glass is going to be something that Judy asks for a lot in the processed form, and that's going to be one of the primary ways for us to get milk while we raise up the, it's a couple $1,000s to buy a cow. Yeah, unfortunately it looks like we are going to have no choice but to have to hit this to get into the next area. If it was early enough, like the very first level, I would probably just start over. Just leave the mine and then come back. I'm very bad at timing this early in the morning, apparently. But we are currently on the last full floor. And the nice thing is that if I want to wander around without using my radar in Lechtenbury mine, it's fine because there's no pits. This is the only mine that you can do that. Otherwise, you need to make sure. Oh, it looks like we might have another silver right here. So we've got the silver required for our barn, but we're going to need silver fairly often for other reasons. Like Judy asks for 3 silver all the time. Now you can spend time fishing here, which we might just grab a few anyway just to fill out some spots on our encyclopedia. These are not terribly hard fish to catch because they're not specials. Later on down the line, we might see some gold sparkly fish. Those will be much harder to catch. They will also be special versions of regular fish that are just worth more. There's 3 types of fish that could be in here. We got the... Yeah, this one's another black goby. There's a regular goby and then there's a mosquito fish. The mosquito fish is one of the very first baits that we can open up early on in the game. Not that we're going to need it. Not this early in the game. We use bait when we're trying to bring larger fish closer to us so that we don't have to fight so hard. But these fish are small enough that we can just throw this anywhere that they're swimming, as long as we get their attention. We won't run out of the bar that indicates the fish getting away. It won't empty out all the way. So here's one of the regular goby. This one's probably either a goby or a black goby because the mosquito fish are smaller. So we're just going to continue on. They're not worth much. Nobody asks for them. So just getting down to this mine was the goal, which is good because it is now late and we are tired. I do want to spend time getting these gems because they are one of the things that we're going to do in the morning, or process and sell in the morning, that are going to give us. They're not worth a lot of money, but they are definitely better money than fishing alone. Any increase this early in the game makes a big impact. Now, we spent so much time in the mine that Eugene is no longer there, even though we probably have plenty of materials for him. That's fine. Tomorrow we can give him his materials, and tomorrow's going to be a seed gathering day. This should give you an idea of how long each day is going to be during the timed game. I have not yet decided if I am going to... Now, if you stay up too late tomorrow, we're going to sleep in a little bit instead of being up at the very, very early part of dawn, because we are going to be past midnight. It is going to have us sleep in a little bit, but getting that extra money for processing tomorrow is going to be worth it. And actually, maybe if we get into bed... Yep, so we did make it just before midnight, and that's going to be it for today. these days are going to be smaller so that they're easier for me to upload, and so that I can point things out to people that ask me questions, where they can view how I get through the part that they're having trouble with. But I hope that you guys have been enjoying this. The DLC content, I believe, will start showing up tomorrow a little more. So I think that'll be the first time we get contacted by Dave. That's something to look forward to. We're going to make friends with the horse again, gather the marguerite, viola, and strawberry pansy seeds so that we can get another 4 planted, and that way we'll have 8 in the ground as soon as possible. Then we only need to get 1 bag of each to finish off our 10 of each, and once they're all grown, we can pass them all in, and we'll get the flower festival before the 15th. Now, if you have any questions about why I'm doing things, feel free to put them below. I try to explain my reasoning behind each decision. And once the flowers are all grown, we'll have a lot more flexibility in crop options. If you have any preferences or would like me to discuss anything game related in my next walkthrough, please comment below, or if you have any questions about the game. And you have a great day.